Recently, I've been lighting quite a few two-person, three-camera setups. They're all a little different. This one is sort of the true 60 minutes where, you're facing each other. So they're not looking at all towards the two shot, the center camera. Here, they're just looking at each other, and they have two singles that have separate backdrops. And in this case, they were gray seamless that we're lighting with colored light. So those are Kinoflow Airs, and each person gets a color, and then we're combining those colors for the center larger 12-foot seamless, and then behind them they're two 9-foot seamless. And then the key light, instead of sort of a cross keys, it's just one back key that is the F400R in this case, and then they're being filled by an F800R, and then they've got two Akinos that are kind of acting as their backlights. And there's a little fill from that as well. And this worked out well. We just went with the blend of color. We did try to separate that out, but we didn't like it. We liked the blend better, so we went with that. And then a low bounce and some netting. So in this next one, we're in a room that's been created by air walls. So they've basically given us a box. And so instead of lighting up the walls as though it was seamless, we're taking light away from the walls and adding set pieces and props. So there's a lamp on a stand there on the right. There's a tree on the left. There's a piece of furniture behind them with some different pieces on there. And then there's a foreground, kidney-shaped table as well. We're arming in two cross keys, and those are Kinoflow Air Maxes on 12-foot Menace arms. And then we've got a Mega Boom with an F400R as a very slight, maybe 1 or 2% on the front fill. And we've armed in some Kino Airs for backlights, and then there's just lots of pops, so 80Cs and 150Cs and 60Cs that are getting the little pieces that are behind the plants or the shelf unit. And we do have a very slight something or other that we put on the wall as well. Here to get a sense of framing, we have a PA and producer sitting in. We obviously would tweak the lights for the actual talent. We did pop a light into the ceiling, so I guess it's not completely true that we kept light off the walls. We just put it where we wanted it. And, in a situation like this, you walk into the room and then you figure out where you can place your people, how far off the wall you want to go. We didn't want to, highlight the fact that it was an air wall, but we weren't going to get away from it completely either. So it's just far enough away to put it a little bit out of focus. And, then you set down the rug, and that's sort of your space. We were given these constraints. We went with it and provided a look that worked for the product, the end result. I actually like that about this business. You could look at it in that, hey, they didn't give us a great room. We had, this crappy background, blah, blah, blah. Or you can look at it like, oh, these are the constraints. Let's figure out what we can do to make this look as good as it possibly can. This is the unit that is just giving a little bit of pop. It's like 1 or 2% with a pretty heavy ND, just a little something on the back wall so that it didn't go completely dark. And this was a 2-day shoot. So the load in and such was not too bad. It was pretty straightforward. We were given a PA as well. So there was plenty of help to push everything in and the load in. And then we had, the time that we needed to set up. So then had lunch, and then, eventually we got going and shot for 2 days. So it was a very pleasant shoot that had everything we needed to make it go well. You really can't ask for more. Then, most recently, we had another 2-person, 3-camera shoot where we were in another ballroom. But here, we don't have air walls. We have practical walls. And the back windows that you see there that are sort of a golden color, those open out to a large atrium where people are one level below eating their breakfast or lunch or dinner. And so we're looking into a narrow ballroom that again has its own space, has skylights and all. We were in the front space, and we just made the wide shot, the two shot, be in the center, seeing deeper into the scene, and then the two side shots would see off to the sides where there were some walls. So again, we brought in the sort of far side cross keys, and those were 2-foot-by-4 F400Rs. And I did that because I thought it was going to be bright out those windows. We didn't have a scout, so we went with what we thought would work. So we had those pretty low as far as intensity, and then didn't really have backlights per se because our load-in was very interesting, sort of a meandering maze where you this is the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, so you come off the sidewalk right into the kitchen basically, and there's a labyrinth there. You go through, you find a service elevator, you go up that, and then you're in the back hallways behind all the ballrooms, and then that led us to where we were. So it's just two of us on Grip and Electric, but the two camera folks helped us out, and the two producers helped us out as well, pushing all our carts up there. And we had a deadline. We had to be rolling, and we had just the one day. And so we were able to make it happen, but we ended up putting up quite a few lights. So we had some ambience that we shot up into the ceiling, both in the front space and in the back space. And then for the two singles, we had two 600Cs, the two Evokes, with the older style Nanlite spot mounts on those, just giving a little wedge of light behind each person for the singles. And then all the little pops to add little somethings to the flat wall surfaces around. So another two 80Cs and two some 60Cs. We also had some edge lights, so there was a Pavo Slim from one side and a narrow 60C on a spot mount for the man's edge, and then we had just a 2x1 Pavo Slim, a 120, that was acting as our fill off the Mega Boom. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but brought it together. And we also had to fight with some color in these spaces. We had turned off all the house lights, but the beige wall was giving off sort of a real green vibe, and there's just something about it. So luckily, in all our units, we were able to tweak the green magenta to where it worked for us. So the point of this video is that, obviously every 2-person, 3-camera setup is not the same. So you need to ask the good questions. What kind of a space? What is your loading going to be like? Are there windows? What are you up against? And that will inform how you get ready for it. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time. Shout out to these guys. So top left there, we got Marshall McDonald, DP, and Mark Maloney, who was operating that day. Down below, we've got producer Rob Ernst on the left and Peter Lindsay, DP, on the right. And then up on the top right, we've got Dane Henry on the left, operator, and Weston Walker, DP, operator, on the right.